Howdy everybody, it's me, Austin again, coming back with another one of these encounter type of videos. So, I have posted this story in search for an ID on what I may have seen, a possible ID, for probably close to 8 years now. Some of you that might be active in those types of subreddits possibly have seen my story and might recall it. This is me saying, hi, that was me. Never got an answer for it on Reddit that was satisfactory. The only thing that I could really accept was like a rational answer where it was maybe like a dog that had gone gangrenous or had mange, right? But the thing was, to me, it didn't seem right. And the only thing approaching this in Western folklore would be probably a hellhound. And even then, it isn't quite fitting to what I saw, right? What do we classically see in hellhounds? Glowing red eyes and pitch black. Will kill you if you see it 3 times. Did not match the description of what I saw at all. I did not get this answer until very recently, but before I get into that answer, I figured I'd just tell the story. This happened in the autumn of my junior year of high school, so this would have been around Thanksgiving time, late November 2013. I was like freshly 17 years old. And I was with a very good friend that I had pretty much all throughout childhood and into my early 20s, but we kind of grew apart. I'm sure he wouldn't want his name associated with this type of content, so I'm changing his name to Brett. Brett, I met through a lot of mutuals, through my creative associate and best bro, one of my bestest friends, Double RG. Yeah, but we kind of got our own independent friendship going outside of that group of people, and that was kind of towards the beginning of that, right? Now, I had been dabbling in black magic for close to 6 months at that point. Not necessarily practicing anything quite yet, but doing a lot of study, definitely thinking a lot about it. So definitely those energies were very present in my life. It's a cold November night. I mean, in Northwest Indiana, it gets so cold so early sometimes the fucking ground's frozen in like the beginning of November. And it was one of those winters. Ground was frozen, and, well, Brett and I, we wanted to take a hike. And we didn't really want to go out far. I think there was, like, money concerns. So instead, next to my subdivision, I call this place the Homestead House when I refer to it in private speak. It was my second childhood home. It was in a small township called Liberty Township, Indiana. I lived right off US 6. That whole area was just dark. There was a dark energy all throughout the area. I really think that home was evil. I think there are forces that were inside of that home that did contribute to the downfall of my parents' marriage. That might sound crazy, but that's what I feel about it. Even if my parents didn't think so, that's fine. That's just what I personally think. I'm not saying that they were like, hey, divorce each other. But there are types of jinn that'll cause you to lose your love. Their whole job is to break up like marriages and shit. Even in like Jewish mysticism, there's the story of Asmodeus. But I'm rambling. There's this patch of woods called Narnia. next to my subdivision. And to get through there, there's this patch of woods. We used to call it the gateway to Narnia. Just a big strip of woods. And it led into just a cornfield, which is probably now subdivisions at this point, but a little over a decade ago, it was just cornfields, frozen cornfields. We're almost to the edge of the woods, but I hear something rustling about 20 feet in front of us. Brett doesn't have like a really high-powered flashlight, but my father was working in the steel mills at that point. And he had like the really fucking strong steel mill issued industrial flashlight, and I took that thing everywhere with me. That was like my primary flashlight back in the day. And I didn't really want to waste any time because, you know, there are coyotes and stuff out in those woods. So, you know, I shined it really quick, but what I saw I was not prepared to see. It was the shape of a dog, and I don't know how to describe it other than it was simultaneously both so stunningly muscular and sickly looking. It had no fur. It just had matte gray skin, glowing yellow eyes, and what threw me off was this thing made no noise other than the leaves it was wrestling around when it was walking, right? So we looked at it for a moment, like literally locked eyes with this thing for a moment. And my buddy Brett's like, oh, what should we do? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't really want to fuck around and find out with this thing. And I remember as I said that, this thing fucking snarled at us. It snarled at us. It made no noise though, but it showed full teeth. And it was horrifying for a split second. And then it just decided to turn the other way and walk through the wood line. And we decided to call it an early night. We didn't continue the hike after that. You know, who knows what would have happened to us. But my buddy, basically to describe it further, it was like a hairless, sickly, matte gray looking gigantic, I mean like huge looking pit bull, super beefy, super muscular, but had like these really sinister eyes, and the snout and stuff didn't really quite look right. Like it looked like a super giant muscular pit bull, but not quite right. Not a dog. And it was until I started reading more about the jinn that I realized that I had been seeing jinn my whole life. This specific jinn is called a Hinn. And depending on the tradition, you know, some say that it's an ancient race that died out long ago. But there's a lot of Islamic traditions still present today that discuss this as still being very real, alive, and well, taking the form of a canine. And, you know, basically conducting their business that way. It's not really a specific look. All you can really assure is that it'll be like a dog, but with an evil tinge to it. The only thing that you can really do to kind of like get it to go away, if it doesn't want to go away on its own, you just offer it some food. Just toss some food at it and walk away. It wasn't really like a spectacular encounter, but it definitely shook me, as I've never in my life again seen something in the woods like that. That was so stealthy and illogically large for being that stealthy. It had the same like quietness to it with a shadow person encounter that I'll have to explain at a later date that I had in 2012 when I was 15. That's when I first really started. That's when the switch flipped and I started really seeing these things a lot. But that was definitely an interesting encounter. My buddy was very good-natured person, like very good-natured at heart, and he legitimately thought like somebody lost a dog. So he's knocking door to door, and we're asking neighbors if they like lost a dog because we just were walking through the woods and saw one. Nobody's have heard of this dog. This dog matches no description. So we just kind of cut our losses and go back to my place, I think, eat some pizza and finish the night. But I remember, like, even telling him walking through the streets, like, that wasn't no dog. That wasn't a dog that anybody would have owned. I kept repeating stuff like that. I was just completely stunned and dumbfounded by what I'd seen. And, again, never in my life have I seen anything else like it. Luckily, I was with another individual who saw the same thing. So that makes me feel just a little bit more sane. Peace be upon you all.